I'm Steve Heyer. I'm the business manager for the Springfield School District, and I'm actually just finishing my 30th year of doing that. So I've also served for 9 years on the school board in Wethersfield, where I live. So I apologize for being a bit repetitive. I was there at the hearing on March 10th on behalf of VASBO, the Vermont Association of School Business Officials. And that night we presented a 4-page position statement that the organization had developed pertaining to school governance. And essentially that paper supports something similar to what H782 supports. It supports a governance change that organizes around the existing supervisory unions so that we would have single district, single governing board, supervisory unions. And in reaching that conclusion and supporting that particular option, we, as you might expect, took a very close look at the data in the existing school governance structure. We looked at the 14 existing single district supervisory unions and the 46 multi-district supervisory unions. And the data indicated that those 14 single district SUs had a higher teacher-pupil ratio, they spent less on administration per pupil, and they spent less overall per pupil than the multi-district SUs. At the same time, the student performance on NECAP test was better in those single district SUs. Now, we understand clearly that Vermont has a very diverse governance structure, and there are many, many variables from district to district, and many, many reasons why SUs, single district SUs, perform differently. But the data inevitably led us to support the change in governance structure to single district governing boards. And so we would ask you to take a look at legislation such as H782 and look at that favorably in terms of making a change in governance that would be more effective and efficient, but also would save a substantial amount of money.
Well, thank you very much for coming down. It is a real pleasure and honor really to have you come into Springfield as a committee and to take testimony from our neighbors and various opinions. Like everyone else, I have my own. And in full disclosure, I am a trustee with the Vermont Superintendents Association, and we do feel quite supportive as an association for this bill, H782, and essentially what the VSA's position is on this is that we favor preschool through grade 12 single supervisory districts with a single school board. And there are lots of reasons for that. If you talk with superintendents who have multi-districts, which I did when I was superintendent in Rutland-Windsor Supervisory Union, you will find that most of our time is spent preparing for meetings and then answering questions that as we go to meeting after meeting after meeting in different towns and different boards, what we end up doing is essentially becoming a slave to requests for each of those boards, and you never really get to the real leadership function and that you need to be doing if you're really going to help these districts. In Springfield, we have about 1,500 students, a population of 8,000 to 9,000. We are a single supervisory district and a single school board. I still am out many, many nights, probably about 3 nights a week minimum. But that work is spent working with budget committees, transportation committees, parent committees, leadership committees, things that have very direct impact on change and improvement. Some of that is very reflective in what is happening here in Springfield. We are connected to the Howard Dean Educational Center. Housed at the Howard Dean Educational Center is a daycare. There's the River Valley Technical Center, UVM has classroom space there. Community College of Vermont has a very large center there, serving a lot of students. We do dual enrollments and provide tremendous opportunities for alternative kinds of programming. Public schools and public high schools have embraced transformation. We have embraced multiple pathways towards graduation for students. We are looking to find those personal graduation plans and personal learning plans for students on an individual basis starting in middle school, so that when a student comes into a high school, a comprehensive high school such as this one, they may be taking online courses, they may be dual enrolled at CCV, they may be working half a day and then working on a very individualized program. Carl Mock, who has provided fantastic leadership at RVTC with his team working with our neighboring schools who are, and superintendents, has put together a pilot program for next year that will access the strengths in all of our sending districts who come to RVTC to develop personal learning plans and without charge. What we're attempting to do is to each of us give something into that process and at the same time allow our students to receive something back. And that will start out quite small. We also have worked with Jeff Renard, who is our technology person there, and received a grant from the State Education Department. And we're also partnering with Burlington and some other schools in the state to develop Vermont's very own online high school and eventually K-12 school program so that students can access that online without going to Florida and paying high rates to sign into those courses and access that. So some very good things that are happening, very individualized towards individual needs, needing a lot of support. I think that savings that can come through bills such as H782 and through that consolidation allows us to redirect monies into the support of these other kinds of programs. And I would suggest that there is not only a cost issue, but there is an equity issue around consolidation. One of the things that I've been carrying around, I've been writing on the back of it now, making myself some notes, but this is the program of studies for this current year at the Springfield High School for next year, 2010-2011. It's a huge. We offer 4 foreign languages: German, Russian, French, and Spanish. We have journalism courses, produces award-winning statewide newspapers, drama, music. Our kids are able to participate in all kinds of sports and clubs and activities, travel abroad, tremendous opportunities. And it happens because we are able to put together enough students to make that offering a viable choice. Now our AP courses are, is that time? Okay, I'll yield to the end of the session. We can have some conversations. The one point I would make is, as an incentive, I would take care of transportation for districts. That's a problem.
Thank you, Frank. Nancy, and on deck